Good afternoon. I want to welcome everybody to our council meeting tonight. Thank you so much for coming out. The time is 5:31. We're a little bit late, but we'll get started in a minute. I'd like to call the meeting to order. And if you would, please stand for the prayer. And from our prayer, we're going to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, justice for all. Mr. McCullum, call roll, please. Here. Here. Thank you. For the record, Councilman Hinton did call me. He had an emergency come up. Nothing major, but he did call me maybe an hour or two ago before our meeting to say that he would not be able to attend. Nothing major, but he did make sure he reached out to me on that one for the record. Approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as printed?
Move to approve.
That's a motion by Councilman Davis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Hogg. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. McCullum. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
8B1 is a resolution of a temporary nature. It's a resolution authorizing our city administrator to enter into an agreement with Titan Enterprises. Mr. Davis.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. As you know, we're in the process of placing a Marriott courtyard on the old Boys Club property, and there are 2 basketball goals located there, and the property immediately south of the Boys Club property, between the Boys Club property and the Bell Auto property is vacant, and those owners have graciously allowed for us to temporarily place the 2 basketball courts on that property, which we will do immediately, so that the young people in that area will have a place to play basketball. The only thing that we're doing is indemnifying them in case there should be a claim. We've already handled it under our insurance, but this is a resolution authorizing the city to indemnify the Ellis family, Titan Enterprises, and allow us to place basketball goals there. So there will be a place to play for the young people in that neighborhood while we're in the process of building a permanent place, which will be just south of the Hassan Center. So this will be an intermediate place that will be ready to go in the next few days.
All right. So again, just to make sure, the old Max Bait Shop is what we're talking about, the parking lot. So while we're doing the 10th Street Park, it's going to take a minute. We don't want people to miss a game of basketball. We're going to move those courts to the old Max Bait Shop. This is indemnifying any claims of the city for temporary use. While we're in this temporary stage of playing basketball, we're working on 10th Street Park, so it'll be a nice park. So
yes,
that way we won't have somebody says, hey, we don't have anywhere to play. So we've got somewhere to play. Okay.
We're trying to make sure there's no break at all in that use of a facility in that area.
Thank you. I'll make that motion to adopt that resolution. Again, it's a lease agreement with Titan Enterprises, Inc. for the city. It's a hold harmless and indemnification from any claims for the city's temporary use of the property. Again, just for reference point, it's the old Max Bait Shop that directly sits right next to 5th Street. So that's in the form of a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Hogg. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. McCullum.
President Logan,
Yes.
Councilman Davis,
Yes.
Councilman Hogg,
Yes.
motion carried.
Second item is a resolution authorizing our city administrator's office to enter into an agreement with C-Spire.
Explain that one as well.
I'll go ahead and speak to that. As you know, 2 weeks ago, we entered into a franchise agreement with C-Spire, which is similar to a franchise agreement with Comcast, Charter, or whatever they are now, to allow them to put high-speed fiber internet along the city's right-of-way. This would approve an agreement with them to allow them, when they're in the process, to provide high-speed internet for the city of Northport, and work toward that as well at the same time.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve that resolution?
Motion to approve.
That's a motion by Councilman Davis, second by Councilman Hogg. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. McCullum.
President Logan,
Yes.
Councilman Davis,
Yes.
Councilman Hogg,
Yes.
motion carried.
Item 3 is a resolution establishing a fee for vacations of certain rights of way. This is out of our engineering department, Mr. Doug Varnon.
Yes, sir, President Logan. This is a vacation of right-of-way, the end of Owen Parkway. The developer that dedicated that right-of-way, they have changed their master plan for the development of that property. That right-of-way needs to move. They dedicated it to the city. They're giving it back to the city so they can turn around and give it back. And we're just asking for any direct cost, legal, advertising, those types of fixed costs be the fee that is set for the vacation.
All right, thank you. Is there a motion establishing that adoption of this particular resolution regarding fee equivalents and any direct administrative costs regarding vacations of rights of way?
Approved.
That's a motion by Councilman Hogg. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Davis. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. McCullum.
President Logan,
Yes.
Councilman Davis,
Yes.
Councilman Hogg,
Yes.
motion carried.
Item 4 is a resolution appointing individuals to serve as the election officials for the 2020 municipal elections. Again, these are volunteers, and Mr. McCullum, if you wanted to give a brief synopsis regarding this, there are lists based on each particular council district.
Yes, Mr. President, we are required by law to appoint these officials to conduct and work the polls on election day. These are for all of the council districts. They're all enumerated. And they're open for public inspection of anybody, and they'll be published in the newspaper as well. We just simply ask you to adopt the resolution appointing these individuals that are volunteering to work the polls, and that's asking a lot during these times, as we all know.
And again, this is for public consumption, so if members of the public wanted to see it, we could go through individually, but I think in the interest of time, again, you'll see a lot of these names who have already worked polls in the past, either through county or state or federal. So again, these are names who are very well known, who have already worked polls, districts 1 through 5 respectively.
That's correct, Mr.
Okay.
President.
All right, is there a motion to approve that resolution appointing individuals to serve as election officials for the 2020 municipal elections? All right. Well, look, what I'll do is I'll make that motion, but what I'll do is I'll go through. District 1 is Bill Poole. Jody Jobson is clerk. Marvis Hughes. Sharon Stone. Barney Hughes. That's District 1. District 2, Miss Letitia Battles Jackson. Clerks, Dolores Whitfield. Ernestine Wilson. Assistant Inspector Samuel Calvin. Jennifer Blackburn. District 3, Rachel Bloom. Lily Grace Williams. Dawn Jones. Dennis Moore. Gloria Dewberry. That's District 3. District 4, Inspector Nancy Kelly. Assistant Inspectors Margaret Jones. Clerks are Margot Harkness, Sheila Stamps, Barbara Brogier. District 5, Mary Jane Pearson. Clerks Tommy Knight, Constant Clerk, Mark Goddard, Betty Mae Calderon. Again, these individuals who have served in the past and have wished to keep serving as well. So again, those are the list of names, and they are for public consumption. I'll make that in the form of a motion to approve that resolution. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Hogg. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. McCullum.
President Logan,
Yes.
Councilman Davis,
Yes.
Councilman Hogg.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item C, consent agenda. There are 7 items. They range from minutes of the previous listing. Bill listings, again, travel and training is not on this one. The PO requisitions regarding economic development and emergency pump replacement at our utilities department. Again, these are 7 items for council consideration for consent approval. Is there a member of council wanted to offer this for a motion of approval?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Councilman Hogg, second by Councilman Davis. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. McCollum.
President Logan,
Yes.
Councilman Davis.
Yes.
Councilman Hogg.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item 9, reports of special committees to council. If any member of council or the mayor's office wanted to give us a brief report from their respective committee at this time.
This past week from the retail committee, learned that Firehouse Subs has executed their agreement and will be coming next door to City Hall at the old Salvation Army building that's right next to us here that will host Planet Fitness, Papa Murphy's, also Firehouse. There's also one other item that will be coming probably in the next week or so, but contract has not been finalized. So as of last I heard yesterday. Once we have that information, we'll pass that along.
All right, thank you, Councilman. Any further business of the committees?
President Logan, I would like, if you don't mind, if you would touch on the, or Mayor, like to touch on the Marriott or?
Yeah, I would, and I was going to do it out of retail just to kind of piggyback, but Mayor, I didn't know if you wanted to touch on it. I was going to give everybody a brief update in that regards. We are pretty much, I'll let John Ray kind of give us the legalese behind it, but we are wrapping up a long process. And I know August of last year, we pretty much had the deal done, but there is a 772 very transparent process regarding the Marriott. So after today, we should be moving forward with conveyance of land from the city to the actual development company. I know you've seen the coming soon sign, so this is the last step today. That's the reason for you saw the indemnification process to keep basketball courts in that particular area until we can get something else done. The Marriott is getting ready to start breaking ground very soon. I mean, you'll get some things through social media. You'll get something from the city as far as groundbreaking. So it's going to be a very big opportunity for the city. Great day for the city of Northport when you can bring that many jobs and full-time and, of course, part-time indirect in an area where it's much needed, and that should really kickstart that particular area of District 2. But again, we're on the last leg of it. Today, you basically formally conveying land from the city to the developer. Developer will then begin his project. So it's a really, really good day in Northport that you're bringing a Marriott hotel to the city of Northport. So it's a very good day, and I hope I've explained that. And I know John Ray and his office will at some point give us another detailed update as of 4 o'clock today. I think we had some more positive changes on this particular project. So groundbreaking should be announced fairly quick. So again, this is your project. Once you hear it, come on out, bring your shovel. So we will send information out. But please go to Anders and buy a shovel. So we want you to, everybody said shop local, so please go to Anders and buy your shovel. I hope that's the update I wanted to give. And John, I see you in the back. You can give another update from retail committee as well.
Sure. We did. The mayor and judge executed the documents today. I have them. Will be officially closed tomorrow, but the project is done. We're turning it over to the developer, and of course the developer. This is an estimated $15 million capital infusion by the developer into the city of Northport. So we're really excited about the project.
Yeah, April of 2019 is when we initially put that deal together, and here it is about a year later.
And
$15 million.
It's taken some time.
Yeah.
It's been validated. We've gone through the process. The court process is over with, and yes, we're looking at a $15 million capital infusion in an area that we think will be a starting block for further development and improvement in the city of Northport.
Thank you. That's all I have on the retail. I know you covered some, and I did too, Councilman. But this is very big news for the city. I don't think people should discount the fact that you got a Marriott coming to our city $15 million project with 100 jobs, direct and indirect. So, any further business of special committees to council? All right. Item 10, public hearings. We only have one through departmental business that's under PD. We'll go through that process on public hearing on item 10, but we'll jump to item 12 at that point. So item 11 is city administrator's business. Mr. McCullum.
Yes, Mr. President, I don't think I need to remind anybody that our first meeting in the month of September is Labor Day on Monday. So we need to think about either just simply not meeting on that first Monday in September and just have one meeting in the month of September. That's for a suggestion.
Let me ask this question. This is more back to the elections. When do we certify election results?
The election results will be certified 7 days after the 25th, so whatever that is.
So that would technically fall on the 1st.
Well, the election commission will do the
Okay.
certification of election.
All right. So we would, as opposed to meeting on the 1st, which is Labor Day, we would just defer and maybe go back to maybe September the 8th. Is that one meeting?
That's correct.
Okay. Members of council, mayor's office, again, Mr. McCullum's office has given us a recommendation to defer the September 1st to the 8th. And again, if that should be in the form of a motion, and if we needed to have another meeting, obviously we'll go through the proper procedures of media notification and of course staff notification as well. So again, the recommendation from the city administrator's office is to have our September meeting not on the 1st but the 8th. Meeting time 5:30 as normally scheduled. Again, I'll make that in the form of a motion.
And no meeting on the 15th?
Well,
Or
you could go, the 15th would be, no, I'm sorry, that would be the 7th. Let me back up.
Yep, 7th.
That would be the 7th. So Labor Day technically would be the 7th. That would be the 14th we would be meeting. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, so my motion would be to be meeting not on September 7th, but September 14th.
And not meet on the 21st and just have one meeting? Or meet both? Just the 14th.
And then again, if we needed to meet, if something does come up in that period after the 14th, we can obviously notify media and do what we need to do and meet after that one. But it will be the 14th of September, meeting time 5:30. Again, that's in the form of a motion, again, changing from the 7th of September to the 14th, meeting time 5:30. That's in the form of a motion.
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Davis. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. McCullum.
President Logan,
Yes.
Councilman Davis,
Yes.
Councilman Hogg,
Yes.
motion carried.
Item 12, departmental business out of Police Department. Again, this is a ABC license of Tequila El Racon Latino, LLC. It's an ABC license. Chief Burton.
Yes, sir. This one's located in the shopping center next to Harbor Freight. It's just a license transfer. We did not find any issues with the case.
All right, thank you. Roll Tide, Chief. All right. I'm going to open the floor for the public hearing regarding this agenda item by state law. Again, the floor is open for any member of the public who wish to speak for or against this ABC license. Again, our police chief and department have given us an update, and this will be. That's okay, Senator. That's all right. That's all right. Again, floor is open for the public hearing in regards to the ABC license request. Floor is open for any member of the public who want to speak for or against this ABC license. All right, seeing no member of the public who wish to speak, I am hereby closing the floor for a public hearing for this agenda item. Again, I'll make a motion to approve the ABC license request for Tequila El Racon Latino, LLC, again, at the request of our PD with no issues or situations. Again, that's in the form of a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Hogg. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. McCullum.
President Logan,
Yes.
Councilman Davis,
Yes.
and Councilman Hogg.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item 13 is public comment. We have one citizen signed to speak, and again, I want to make sure we give her the floor. Ms. Tamaria Madison.
Tamaria Madison, 4412 Northwood Lake Drive West. I'm following up about this complaint. I did meet with Mr. McCullough regarding this whole situation, but that meeting didn't go too well because it was loud talk and all that. So I did receive a form. I filled that out and turned it in on the 23rd. My question is, based on this form, I'm supposed to have some kind of resolution in 14 days. So my initial complaint was submitted on June 12th. I met with Mr. McCullough on July 22nd, and I'm just wondering, when are we gonna have some resolution about this situation?
Do you have I guess I say you, thank you, Ms. Madison. I guess I need to get a copy of that complaint. I know you had a meeting Wednesday, previous Wednesday. And I guess you had the complaint form filled prior to that meeting.
Well, I didn't get that
Okay.
complaint form. He emailed it to me the night before,
Okay.
because I was told it wasn't a formal complaint form, but y'all got something. Well, I got something from him the night before, and when we went to meet and the loud talk, our meeting didn't go. I didn't feel
Yes, ma'am.
comfortable, so I just went on and submitted the complaint form with the initial complaint from June 12th. So my question is, when am I gonna get some kind of feedback or resolution about what happened on June 12th?
All right. And I'm gonna defer to Hardy, but I will say this: if you filled it out, we need to get you a resolution before the end of. You filled it out on the 22nd.
Well, it was initially June 12th. It's just that you all said you didn't have a form.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. President, if I recall correctly, following our last meeting, I again volunteered to meet with Ms. Madison. And it was pointed out that we did not have a complaint form. The very next day, I had a complaint form made up and emailed it to her the very next day, not the day before our meeting, the very next day, at the email address that she lodged her initial complaint on.
That was on that Tuesday.
All right, hold on.
The day before the meeting.
Ms. Madison, again, your recollection, I have the date on which I sent it to you, ma'am, and it's in my records, and it should be on your records as well. And
Yes,
it
it's
certainly
on the
was
email.
not the next, it was the day following or within 2 days of the last council meeting.
That
All
was
right.
that
Then we
Tuesday.
attempted to have a meeting as instructed between Ms. Madison and myself. And Ms. Madison had a delegation with her. Some included some political candidates, but she had 3 or 4 other people with her at that meeting. I was instructed to meet with Ms. Madison. If the council wants me to hold a public meeting, we'll hold a public meeting right here.
Well, we can do
And
that.
I don't have a problem with that. But on Ms. Madison's departure, she was, speaking as to my treating her with disrespect.
You were yelling.
Let me say, y'all all know I speak loudly. Most of the time I don't need a microphone. And I was speaking loudly, but I was not disrespectful at all and never have been and never will be. And we can disagree to disagree, Ms. Madison, but I think your gesture upon leaving that meeting that was witnessed by others indicated to me certainly that this is I don't know what resolution you're actually looking for, because you use profanity.
What did I say, Hardy?
Do you want me to say?
I really do.
Do you want me to tell you?
I really do.
You raised your finger up and said, F you, Hardy McCollum, and exited. Now, it was witnessed by more than one person. Now, you're going to deny it, I'm sure, but it was witnessed. And that doesn't speak to someone that I volunteered on more than one occasion
No,
to
you
sit down.
No, you didn't.
I think the record speaks for itself. I have again volunteered to sit down and discuss this with you. If we're going to have a public hearing on this, we'll hold a public hearing.
First
And-
of all, I had two people with me, because when I initially brought it to the attention of the council, they said they had to do some investigation. When he came out of that room and was yelling, I told him I did not feel comfortable with him yelling at me, and he wanted to close the door. I asked him to leave the door open. He said no. He said he talks loud, whatever, whatever. He saw Mr. Woodrow Washington, and he invited him in. I didn't ask for Woodrow to come into the meeting with us. He asked him to.
Are you telling me you didn't invite Mr. Washington to be in attendance, which is what he told me?
I didn't.
Oh, okay. So Mr. Washington,
He told you when he was standing there with me and you
I'm sure
that he was
Mr.
just
Washington
up there.
had no other reason to be there other than that I invited him
I
to
had
come.
two people with me as witnesses, and you were yelling, and I
Ma'am,
told you.
I'm talking the same tonight as I
What can we
talked.
do about this? He's doing the same thing that Ron is doing, and that's being disrespectful. I just don't feel as though it's fair for men to treat women the way they are. That's why I brought this to you all's attention on June 12th, and I'm looking for some resolution. This could have been handled back in June.
Let's handle it today,
Well,
okay?
let's handle it.
All right, will you let me talk without interrupting me?
Go ahead.
Thank you. There we had a meeting with,
Sage.
you're interrupting me. We had Sage, okay? There were about 12 people there. Out of the 12 people, some were elected officials, some were employees, some were members of the public. There, as I recall, there were about 4 African Americans out of 12 that were there at the meeting. I've spoken to people that were there since then. No one has said that I attacked you or that I spoke inappropriately to you. Here is what they said. They asked for comments about positive things about Northport and negative things about Northport. And you indicated, your response was, the negative thing is the city of Northport should hire more people of color, and we should appoint more people of color. And that surprised me. And I will apologize to you if you felt like I attacked you. I'm like Hardy, I talk loud. I'm an attorney. I was 5 years old. My grandmother said I need to be a preacher and attorney because I talk loud, okay? So I did not mean to disrespect you. I did not mean to insult you, and if I did, I apologize. But let me tell you what, you surprised me. And I'm the city attorney, and when people say things about my client, or when people say things about my employees, it's my job to set the record straight. And I was surprised. You applied for a job here. See, the problem with an application or an appointment is if 10 people apply for a job, you give it to one person, and 9 people get their feelings hurt. So you make one person happy, and you make 9 people sad. That's just the way the hiring process goes. And you were upset because you said we should hire more people of color, and we should appoint more people of color. Well, I knew that you applied for a job, and we hired an African-American woman for that position. It wasn't you. It was, you know her. She's your PTA president. And you are upset, and you said some things on the internet about her. Then you applied for another position, which was in IT. And you said, well, I'm qualified. I have a degree. Well, as I understand it, you have a degree or certificate in nursing, whatever, from Shelton. I got 2 degrees. I've got a Bachelor of Science, and I got a law degree.
And
no, you ma'am, let me finish.
Hold on, wait
No,
wait
ma'am.
1 second. Wait,
Well,
wait,
hey,
one
hey,
second.
Ron, let's do this.
1 second.
Let's do this. I know you want to speak, so
Hold on.
please.
Well, wait a minute. First of all, what I said was I would like to see some diversity in Northport.
Okay.
I mentioned the library. I
Yes,
mentioned
ma'am.
the cyber cafe.
Yes, ma'am.
After I was done talking, he said, hey, she's on the zoning board and she never comes to meetings. Hey, she was offered a job and she refused it. That had nothing to do with the point that what I was making about Northport. That's my personal information. And I did refuse a job as a dispatcher because it was more than 10,000 less than what I'm making. As far as a degree, yes, I do have a nursing degree.
Yes, ma'am.
I also have a bachelor's in health system management, and I'm currently working on my MBA.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's not what, I was just saying what I would like to see because that's what they wanted to hear.
That's what
Now,
was asked
for
during the
him
meeting.
to bring up, you know, the zoning meeting and what, everyone does not attend every zoning meeting. So that had nothing to do with my answer.
Mm-hmm.
And for him to discuss me refusing a job, that's my personal business as well. So.
The point
you're
I
right.
was trying to make, Ms. Madison, was that you're complaining about
Diversity.
Diversity, that's right. And out of 3 jobs, we hired 1 African-American female. You didn't get that job. We hired 1 white female. You didn't get that job. And the 3rd one, we hired you. We held that job open for you for nearly 8 weeks. We spent several $100s getting you ready for it. And you came, I'm also surprised, you came to the council talking about me in public. And you said, well, I don't want that job. I'm not going to take a $10,000 pay
I
cut.
just mentioned
Then
that.
I am confused as to why these 3 jobs you applied for all pay $10,000 or less than what you were currently making. That makes me confused. I'm confused why you say we don't appoint African Americans to boards when on this 5-member zoning board of adjustment, we have 2 African Americans. At one point we had 3, but we have 2. You're one of the 2, and you don't ever come. You've come out of the last 9 meetings, you've missed 6. And here's the problem. It's not a city board, it's set up by the state.
And
okay?
it's non-paid. Now, you asked Julie how many times I've left home to come up here to make a quorum, okay?
Okay.
I sat on the board when, Checkers was being developed. I sat on the board for that car wash that's gonna be open down the street. I've sat on the board for several things. It was even a man with a property near downtown Northport that needed to do, I've sat on the board when I'm able to get to the meetings. What I think you're confused about is when I say diversity, it's not about black and white. It's about a variety of people. So maybe you should have asked me what I meant by diversity. It's
Well,
not
I'll be
it's not
glad to
always
meet
about
with
black
you.
and white.
I'll be glad to meet with you. But all I'm saying is that I was confused because you were appointed to a board that had another African-American member on it.
It's not about the
and
board.
you don't ever show up. And here's what the result is. When you don't come out of those 6 times in the last 9 meetings,
When was the
that you
last
didn't
time
co-
Jeffrey Thompson was here?
you know what he did? He couldn't come. He finally did what you should do. He resigned because he couldn't come.
And that's not a problem. I can do that.
Well,
But I'm not the only person who misses meetings. I do have a job, and I am an essential worker. So sometimes I'm not able to make the quorum, but when they call me, I tell them. But at the end of the day, that's not the point I'm making. The point that I'm making is that we were at a forum where they wanted the community's input about Northport. And I gave that. If you felt like that about the special zoning or about the job, that's something you could have talked to me. That Red Sage, that was nothing that they should have been privy to my personal information.
Well, your attendance at the board meetings is not personal. That's public information. My only point is this. The state of Alabama sets up the zoning board of adjustment. It allows for 5 members. But to pass something, you have to have 4 affirmative votes. So when you don't come for 6 meetings, and every one of those 6 meetings, we didn't have 5 people, we had 4. So
Okay,
what you
how many
did
meetings has
is
LaPerry
you
missed?
gave
How many?
any board member an absolute veto. So if someone came, so I'm apologizing to the people that come to Northport to our zoning board of adjustment meetings when you don't show up or somebody else doesn't show up, and it gives one person an absolute veto over that. The way the state has it set up is 5 members,
What does
so
that
one
have to
person
do-
can
what
vote
does that have
no,
to do with the
and
way
it
you
still
talk to me?
passes.
What does that have to do with the way you were talking?
Let
What does
me
that have to
let me
do
do
with
this, and
mine?
I don't want to interrupt either one, and I'm saying this and I appreciate you coming back up. I just want to make sure that let the record show, I want Ron, and I think he was getting ready to apologize. And I know, Ms. Madison, you've been very patient. I know Ron has wanted to try to meet, but I think Hardy's office really wanted to do his internal investigation. The fact does remain, and again, I'll say this, did it add value to your forum meeting? Probably not. But that was probably a side conversation. Again, these are my opinions, so we can wrap this up as people, because I feel like now we're going down a rabbit hole that I don't want to hunt with. So I know Ron wants to apologize in terms of if there was something miscommunicated, if that was the wrong tact or even the wrong added value for a conversation in that particular meeting. I think that's what Ron wanted to apologize
Well,
for. If you got the opinion, if it made you feel like that right there, that's what Mr. Davis is actually apologizing. Hey, he didn't really mean it that way. But I will say this: moving forward in these particular forums, again, we all know as professional people, we need to hold what we're going to do in that same professional vein. Now, I don't know what was said. I know Hardy made that very clear what was said during that Wednesday meeting. Again, and I didn't mention that I didn't make. But Ms. Madison, again, if you wanted to say something, I was going to let Ron kind of wrap what he was saying. He had a thought on his mind, but I want to make sure if there was something that you wanted to make sure that you got out, because I don't want you to leave here thinking that the city of Northport does not appreciate diversity, not from the standpoint of color, but from the standpoint of cultural and other elements that make a city what it is. So I don't want anybody to leave here and see that, get that impression. And I don't want our public, and especially our staff and personnel, to say we are always on our heels trying to defend what we're trying to do, because it's been clear. Again, personally, you put in for positions, good, bad, or indifferent. Whether or not you choose to get them, that's your business.
Exactly.
But now, I think we have to put a check mark too. Now you got to give us some credit, because you still put in, so that kind of checks us off the box, in my opinion. So, Ms. Madison, I didn't know if there was something else.
Why I'm standing here, it's not about black and white.
Mm-hmm.
It's about a woman being disrespected
Absolutely.
by a man.
Absolutely.
Now, if he's going to apologize, go ahead and apologize.
Mm-hmm.
But all this added about zoning meetings, about me not, I have a right to accept or refuse a position. That's my right. So let's not even worry about that. Either you're going to apologize about disrespecting me and putting my business out there at that meeting, or we're not getting anywhere. I don't want to hear about the zoning, because I'm not the only one that misses those meetings. Things happen. Things happen. And like I said, I'm an essential worker at Tuscaloosa VA. So sometimes I cannot make it to these meetings, but Julie and her staff, they're notified ahead of time. But there have also been times where I've been at home and received calls, and I run around here so they make a quorum. But that's neither here nor there. I want to go back to the meeting with Red Sage and how you did that. Either you're going to apologize and we move on, but I don't want to hear anything else about me and missing meetings, because I'm not the only member that misses meetings.
Hey, well, I'll make you a deal. I apologize if I made you feel bad. How about you apologize to Mr. McCullum for the way you said and conducted yourself
No,
last?
No, sir.
Hey, Ron, let's do this.
Let's stick to
This other conversation between Red Sage and that, I still say that may be another conversation, but fact of the matter is, we're going to just get past this. Ron, you getting ready to apologize regarding that. Ms. Madison, again, if there's issues where you feel like at a public board you can't make it, then there's opportunities where if you feel like you want to resign, okay. And again, that's what Mr. Davis is trying to articulate as far as the attendance. We that's a matter where we can handle, and we'll handle that.
Right.
Okay. So
And the case in point is the meeting with the city forum
Mhm.
and what was brought out and how it was brought out. It was inappropriate. Now, either we're going to go ahead and apologize and move on, or I just keep asking until I get a sincere apology about that. I don't want to hear anything else.
I'm on standby to meet with you. I am glad you can come to every council meeting. You haven't missed one.
Oh,
But you can't come to the zoning board of adjustment
I've
meetings.
missed some. I've missed some city
But-
council meetings.
I will be glad to meet with you.
I don't want to meet
but-
with you all. Let's go ahead and get that over with right here, right now.
I was there last Wednesday, ready to meet with you until I heard your performance. And you walked out the door cursing the judge and shooting him the bird.
I did not shoot him the bird.
Well, I had an African-American female tell me that
So
you
we're not
did.
going to do the apology today. That's what you're saying. So we're not gonna get it.
If you'll apologize to him, I'll apologize to you. How about that?
I'll see you at the next meeting.
Can I get a copy of I'll get a copy. I'll
Well,
get I'll get a copy of
I
that.
just attached that email from June
Okay.
12th to the complaint form, and it said in 14 days that I was supposed to hear something. According to this form, it says, standard citizen complaints investigations shall be completed within 14 days of the date of the initial filing of the complaint. That was on June 12th when I sent the email to everyone, because as of June 12th, they didn't have this formal complaint. I came to the meeting on Monday. We scheduled a meeting for Wednesday. Tuesday afternoon is when he sent this complaint form. And when I got here Wednesday, like I said, he was yelling. He said he talks loud. Okay, that's fine. But I did not feel comfortable being in a room with him. And then he made the comment, well, we're going to record it and put it on Facebook. They say you like Facebook. What does that have to do with anything? I did not ask Woodrow. He asked Woodrow to come into the meeting. But since we're not going to get any resolution, that's fine. I'll just come back to the next meeting.
Yes, ma'am. We're gonna get a resolution. So, because again, I have to.
I hope the truth will win out, Mr. President.
Well,
Because I know you have an opponent in Mr. Washington, and Mr. Washington was there, and I asked him why he was there, and he was there at the request, unless
You asked him to sit in the meeting.
he was
Mom.
there at your request, Ms. Madison.
You asked him to sit in that meeting, and like I told you that day, I didn't ask him. I told Hardy, leave the door open because I had two people with me. If everything that's said needs to have a witness, why
And
am
I
I
told
not
you
able
we were
bring
gonna
one?
record the meeting so that you didn't have to worry about sitting in a meeting with me and me doing anything that was inappropriate. I was going to have it recorded, and I said you could put it on Facebook if you'd like.
No, you said you were gonna put it on Facebook because I like Facebook.
Well, this is what I got to do on behalf of the council, because this is not keeping up with the decorum of council. It's just not, in my opinion. So, irregardless of what goes on, a resolution will happen. All right. So, I may need to come in a meeting. I apologize again for not being up Wednesday during that meeting. Probably, I don't know if it would have made a difference, but I could not make that time because I had a family emergency come up. So, again, I know what Mr. Davis is the intent, but I don't want anybody to leave this chamber thinking, man, the city is just not for diversity. I'll have to defend that because we are. But at the same time, I do think that we have opportunities where in certain situations we can pull back and peel back in how we interact. Not saying that people are doing this intentionally. Do not want people to think there is some kind of intention to where people do this. And again, I will make sure, and I'm gonna get a copy of your complaint, but I want to make sure that if there is a meeting that need to be had, it's your request, staff request, I need to be there so we can pretty much get a resolution
I'm not
regardless.
gonna attend any private meetings.
Ma'am?
I'm not gonna attend any private meetings. I mean,
Yes, ma'am.
we can resolve this, but since we're not going to, I'll just continue to address.
I still say it's going to be resolved prior to it, though. That's just my personal opinion.
Well, I'll look, hey, I
Yeah.
turned it in on, what was that, July 23rd?
July 22nd, 23rd?
I turned it in on the 23rd, the
Okay.
next day. So the 30th was 7 days. And so what, by the 7th? The 6th? Which is Thursday? I should be hearing something in email or,
I'm going to work to get something on the 6th. If I can't, you will hear directly from me why I can't.
okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. We have one more citizen signed to speak. The Honorable Senator Gerald Allen, State of Alabama. He's going to bring us some money from Montgomery.
Well, 153,000 has already been paid to you, hopefully.
Well, actually,
Okay.
yeah, but our Northport scale and went up, Senator. It's 153 times 3.
Oh my goodness. That's
Yeah,
great.
and that's just some.
That is
It's a
great.
crazy. It's a. It's
Right.
a crazy.
Oh, yes, sir.
It's a formula down there in something in Montgomery that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. I think I heard that. And Mayor, good to see you. Mr. President, doing a great job. And,
Thank you.
you did a great job in your term, and each council member as well. Thank you for your service. I prepared a 30-minute review of the Alabama legislature, but I'm not going to do that tonight, okay? It's been a long day, but I do have something to present, and this was passed by the state Senate and the House as well, a joint resolution. And if I may, take this time to present something that's I think is very important to us. I was a very young man when this gentleman ran for public office, and my father served with this gentleman. Do y'all know who I'm talking about? Okay.
Wouldn't they judge with it?
He's sitting right over here. But anyway, it's I've told many, many people this, and our county has been blessed to have good leadership. And Judge Hardy McCollum has been a faithful servant, and he has been an excellent money changer, managing the budgets and doing those things that each of us, all of us, even the public, that's involved in, and to make sure that each dollar that the citizens of Tuscaloosa and this state gives us, to make sure we manage it well. But anyway, I have a resolution here, and it's a joint resolution of the Senate and the House. This, for your knowledge, goes in the history books of Alabama, and but it says it's pretty direct. Whereas the highest accommodations are herein proudly presented to the Honorable Hardy McCollum for an outstanding service, and whereas he was elected judge of probate and chairman of the Tuscaloosa County Commission in 1976, re-elected in 1982, in 1988, 1994, 2000, 2006, 2012. Of course, he was instrumental in bringing the first foreign company to the area in the mid-'80s, which was JBC. What was it? Steel? Which one was the party? But Nucor Steel, Mercedes, a number of others. And I'm not going to read any further, but it brings great honor for me to have introduced this resolution to the state Senate, and we passed it and went to the House, and the local delegation, Tuscaloosa, proudly supported it as well. So, Judge, I know that you had a celebration sometime back, but this wasn't ready, okay? So I'm going to ask you to come up here and get out of here.
Mayor, you want to go up there too? There's an honorable mayor as well, but man, I tell you what, it's all right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, point of personal privilege. I love that. Here we go.
If you don't mind, I can
Sure.
say in all my years of service, and of course Gerald has been a dear friend during this period of time, and he wrote that resolution just the way I asked him to. No, seriously. No, but what I did want to say to the people here in Northport, you know, it's hard to believe I've been directly involved with city government now for almost a year. And I can tell the people of Northport that it has been a very, very enjoyable experience, one of which I can say that we are second to none in quality of staff. They do a really good job. I mean, Councilman Roberts tried to emphasize that, I think, on his departure at the last meeting. Your folks work hard to provide good quality services to the people of Northport, and I think they're not recognized the way that they should be, and they're not sometimes appreciated the way that they should be. But I can tell you, I appreciate them. I appreciate them because I've had the pleasure of working with them. I know without a doubt they will measure up with anybody, and Northport should be proud of them. It's folks, you know, you're only as good as the people that are around you, and I'm proud to say there's a lot of good people around me. So thank you, Gerald, for this.
Any further business from the great city of Montgomery? Anything that a bill that we need to probably get together and put us a small agenda that maybe you can work on our behalf? We'll be getting with you. Yeah, Northport needs some money, but all right. All right, that's all the citizens signed to speak for public comment. I'll go into a mayor and council members' business. I'll start with Mayor Aaron.
Nothing, thank you, Mr.
Yes, ma'am. District 2 under my business. Again, you've heard from John Ray, the Marriott Hotel. I keep saying it again. You have a $15 million project that's going to be transformative on Bridge Avenue right in District 2. Many thanks to the mayor and council. They actually saw the value. Staff's done an amazing job to get us over the goal line. So you will start seeing hopefully dirt turning in the next few weeks. So again, when folks tell you that, oh, I'm going to bring so-and-so, it's already done. The deal was done a year ago. But we did it in a way, thank you, Senator. One thing, do not change 772. There's a bill. Don't change 772. Make it a little bit easier if you're going to do it. We went through 772, and staff done an amazing job. So a lot of jobs coming to Northport. So again, I really am appreciative of that. Staff has done a really good job with Public Works under the auspices of being able to supply efficient services in the midst of a community health crisis. So when we get calls about, hey, right-of-way is not cut, well, you got to think about it. If you're working staggered shifts, you're worried about guys not getting sick, you have to take that into an account. So very thankful for our Public Works. They've done an amazing job over the last few weeks. School's getting started back up, so I know we're going to have more traffic, more right-of-ways. People are going to put more eyes and glasses on rights-of-ways, and this is not being done. But when you go from a crew of X to a crew of Y, because of community health crisis, we're doing really good, and police and fire has done an amazing job. So many thanks to them during our community health crisis. And that's all the business I have. Again, Councilman Hinton, he called me early tonight. He would not make it. Again, Councilman Davis, District 4.
I have no business.
District 5, Pro Tem Hogg.
Yes, Council President. There has been some questioning regarding a 1998 act. I have my own opinion and feel I can answer this with knowledge, but however, last week I have asked our staff to review and give legal opinion. So, Mr. Ron Davis, I was going to see, I know you were out of town, but have you had a chance to look at
Yes.
that and give us any information?
Yeah, I was on vacation last week, but I've seen some of the posts, and I've got some people looking into it while I was gone. I've looked at it again after I got back in town. First of all, the allegations of city not spending money correctly. If anyone has anything that supports it, I'd be glad to meet with them. I'd be more than happy to do that. And I know we all have the thing, if it's on the internet, it must be true. Well, not necessarily. It's kind of like Ms. Madison and I have a difference of opinion about we don't hire minorities, we don't promote minorities. I've been here for 30 years, or since late 80s, and if that were true, the EOC would not allow us to continue to operate. And I've been, we've had to explain to them what we do and why we do it, so we do not discriminate. And it makes me upset when people say things like that, because it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. And to my knowledge, we have not misspent one single penny. I've looked, and I'm not a deer hunter, but one of my friends, they get really excited when it's deer season. Well, in Northport, every 4 years is election season, and it's August, so it's election season. And so a lot's out there. You know, for us to say that we misspend something, those are serious charges. If there's, like I said, if anybody's got any proof, I'd sure like to look at it or know where to go look. But the city is, like the EEOC looks at us for our hiring and our promotion. We have independent auditors that look at us. We have a finance committee. We have paid financial professionals that look at it. I couldn't read a balance sheet if I had to, but I have looked at it. There was a 5 mil property tax that was going to expire in early 1999. And the city voted to renew that tax. So it was not a new tax. It has nothing to do with the county high issue. Those were different years. This was just a renewal of an existing property tax. If someone says it was for county school system, they're wrong. They say it was for Northport schools in the county school system, they're wrong, or anything else. It was not earmarked for any particular reason except two broad areas. And I've got copies that I'll leave, and everybody can look at what we found so far. This is a resolution number 9839. It shows it was an existing tax, and in 1998, in July of 1998, the Northport City Council voted to cause a referendum where the citizens of Northport could vote on whether or not to renew that tax. And the referendum was held, and it was approved. And it was the vote on the extension of an existing 5 mil ad valorem tax designated for what? Not for football coaches, not for Northside, not for County High, not for Hillcrest, for general education purposes, public safety purposes. So those two things, general education purposes, public safety purposes, including but not limited to fire, police, transportation. So what can you spend this money for? You can spend it on sending the policemen to go be trained, to send the firemen to go be trained, to educate our workforce. You can send it for a new ladder truck for a fire department. You can train them, pay to train them. You can get police cars for the police. You can train them. You can get them body cameras. You can do all sorts of things for the fire department, police department, or for transportation. You can pay for a transportation study, or you can spend, I read on the internet while I was in Charleston, nice place, by the way, brings in $1.5 million a year. We can spend that whole $1.5 million on paving if we want to, transportation. So the city council gets to decide where they spend this source of revenue as well as several other sources. Now, we do have some, like gasoline tax, you do spend on asphalt and things like that are earmarked. But that's what we have accountants for and other people to be sure we put things. I think our finance department has 30 different accounts so that they can be sure the money goes in the right account and it goes out of the right account for the correct reasons. But basically, this resolution says what that money can be spent for, and nowhere does it say it has to be spent on county schools, Northport schools, football coaches, or anything to do with county education. We can spend it all in the city, on the city budget, in the general fund if we want to. If we want to give money to county high, we can. Or I say we, y'all the one that do the budget. But there are no limitations on it. And, you know, so anybody that says that this has been misspent has bad information, in my opinion. So after the meeting's over, I'll put these out. You can take a look. And like I said, I'll be glad to meet with anybody that has any information that what I've said is not accurate. I'll be glad to take another look at it. But I just had one day, but I've got like Hardy, I was surrounded by good people, and I thought he didn't look at me when he said that, but they found this stuff.
Thank you.
All right, just so I can make sure, 98-39, that's an existing tax, voted to extend it via referendum, general education, public safety, and/or in that realm. So, ladder trucks. You've got 65 or 70 public safety arms in police and fire, training, body cameras, those essential things that you would need. And if you need them, you're not defunding the police department, I can assure you. And you're not going to defund your fire department. So if you need them, you need to get these things, correct? And that 98-39 allowed us to do that, correct? Yeah, we purchased that ladder truck for ISO reasons, regardless of how people feel about it. Well, I guess you're going to need it now. You got a 5-star hotel coming. So yeah, if you don't mind, give me a copy of that. Thank you.
I've underlined the part that's what was passed in that election in September.
I think the key word here, President, is for general educational purposes. That does not say anything like you said about public education.
That's correct.
Yes.
I can remember when all of our police cars, if you remember, Ron, 2010, 2011, had an average mileage on the 275,000 on each one of them. So what do? We had them breaking down on the side of the road. What do? This is 2010, 11. Same thing with your fire department. As the city expands, we had to do another coverage area. When you put a new subdivision in, you got to hire public works, police, and fire, but you got to be able to train them, put boots on them, gas in the truck, things of that nature. So okay, thank you.
And your public safety is fire and police are your largest budgeted items in your budget as well. So,
Hardy, you've done 1 or 2 budgets in your career. I'm just asking. I think you've done 1 or 2 budgets. What do you? All right, thank you. Any further business, Councilman Hogg?
no, that was it. I just wanted to get some clarification before I misspoke myself, but that's what I had seen as well. So I appreciate you looking into that and giving a legal opinion as well. So thank you.
All right, item 15 is executive session. Again, this will be headed up by John Ray. Is that right?
Yeah, I think we can forego that. I think we when John and I, we talk a lot anyway, but I think we talked every day. I was on vacation. We worked through some things, and I think we worked through it. So I think we can go ahead and forego the executive session. I hate to break your heart, but I think probably everyone's ready to get home. But the closing occurred today at 4. John, I can't say enough good things about him. He has represented the city very, very well. Very, very well. When he was dealing with the lawyer for the developer at Cerroti, when he was dealing with the lawyer for the bank, he was by far the smartest lawyer in that room and looked after his client the best. And he makes me look really good. So anyway, we really, really did well when we bumped into John when we first went to look at Pell City project. So I can't say enough good things about him.
I'll agree. That's 772, Senator Allen. The only thing I would suggest, if we can shorten up the validation process, wouldn't you agree? Maybe if they could do that, John, just shorten the validation. By state code, we've got to do that, but we appreciate the transparent process we had to go through. But yeah, so everybody's okay with not having an executive session. Okay. No, that's okay. That's all right. Let's move on. Let's move on. We'll move on. We'll move on to adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Councilman Hogg, second by Councilman Davis. All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, same sign. We're adjourned, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.